This is the Action Movie Guys podcast, bringing you action movie reviews from across the decades, plus box office numbers and insight like never before. And now, your hosts of the Action Movie Guys podcast, Alex and Nate.
Here we go. Welcome, everyone, to a brand new episode of the Action Movie Guys podcast, episode 79, Rush Hour from 2007. I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and my co-host is
Nate from Netflix Reviews.
All right, Nate, question of the day is, how long has it been since you've seen Rush Hour 3?
So, I'll be honest, when I went to watch it, which, by the way, we're recording a little later than normal, behind the scenes, and I watched it just now today, and I realized I haven't seen this movie since the movie theater because I didn't remember barely anything. So 14 years since I've seen it. 14 years. How about you?
I never seen this movie. This is the first
time watch.
Yes, first time watch for me, and I can't wait to dive right into this review. But you guys out there, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, please hit that like button, hit those notification bells so every time videos drop, you guys will be notified. And of course, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, support the channel. And of course, if for those of you that take us on the go, we have an audio podcast also called Action Movie Guys, available anywhere you guys listen to your podcast on. So with that said, let's take it away with some box office numbers from Rush Hour 3 from 2007. Domestic, $140 million.
Not bad.
Yeah, international, $117 million. On a worldwide total of $258 million on a budget of $140 million.
Oh, this had a budget of 140?
Yeah.
Bro, the first Rush Hour had a budget of like 30, if I remember correctly. It was like 30 or 40. Even the second one didn't have, holy moly.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this was Brett Ratner. He directed the first two, but this was also after he just directed X-Men 3. So maybe he thought now he was a, hot shot, big budget movie director or something like that. Okay, well, it made money, but not that much, which is why there's no Rush Hour 4, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. This is really crazy and ludicrous, right? For a $140 million action movie. And it's funny, in the movie, we're going to talk about it. I did not see $140 million anywhere out there, but we'll talk about it on our review. But let's get right into some Rotten Tomato scores, and let's see what the critics and the audience have to say about this movie. Nate?
All right, so critics, not too good. Not too good. Very bad, as a matter of fact. This is by far the lowest, 18% on the old tomato meter from critics. Now, audiences were much more kind. And this is not that much below Rush Hour 2. It's got a 63%. So fans, I mean, it did make money. So fans seem to enjoy it enough. Critics kind of hated it. So 18 and 6, that's a big discrepancy. Usually it's quite a bit closer.
Yeah, but you know how we do it here. We're going to throw out all those critic scores, audience scores, and we're going to tell you guys our movie reviews coming up right now. So let's get right into it with our first category of the night with lead character Jackie Chan, Chris Tucker reunite. Go ahead, take it away, Nate.
All right. So I have a feeling, look, me and Alex we do not talk about our ratings ever until we sit down here to record, but I have a feeling we are going to go in slightly different directions on this one. If my gut tells me one thing, it's that. Now, with all that said, this was my least favorite of them two in the series, and by quite a bit. I don't think it's they're not, neither one. Well, okay. Jackie Chan is impervious to being terrible, in my opinion. You always like watching him. Like, when do you look at Jackie Chan and be like, I'm not having a good time watching Jackie Chan? There is no time. Yeah. He's always good. He's funny. He sings in this movie, which is funny because he's actually like a big singing artist in China, too. He has like #1 albums and everything. So he got to sing. He got to do his karate. He got to do, stunts. He got to sing. I love Jackie Chan. He gets no blame from me. Chris Tucker, this is 6 years after the last Rush Hour. And for some reason, I don't know what happened. I do not like him in this movie. He's my problem with the two of them. I don't know. He's not funny in this. Like, I liked him in the first two, both of them. I know you liked him less in the second one, said he screamed too much and stuff. No arguments. I liked him in that one. This one, though, he doesn't even scream that much in this one. All his jokes are kind of like pervy. He's kind of creepy in this movie, especially the Soo Young joke. That was like, what is this? When she's at the hospital, it's like, oh, so young. And it was creepy. Like, I didn't like his character in this. And one problem they did, and this was a big mistake. I don't know, the writer, I don't think this was the same writer as the other two. I didn't look it up. Big big mistake. These two don't even like each other for like half the movie because of what happened in New York, which they only talk about, they never showed. Remember me and you were talking about, I wish they would have actually went to New York for Rush Hour 3 and showed what happened. So with and Chris Tucker, don't get me wrong, there are moments that he does stuff that I did laugh. I'm not going to say he's like abysmal. I'm just saying I didn't like him as much in this. Their chemistry in the second half is a little better when they're like kind of friends again. But the whole beginning half, I gave it a 3, mostly because Jackie Chan, and I do like them in the second half. So half of the movie, didn't like them together, and Chris Tucker didn't like for 75%. So it's a 3. It's still not awful, and Jackie Chan carries it, but it's not great.
All right, look, I'm gonna be really honest with you. This movie made me dislike the Rush Hour. Or like I didn't want to see a 4. Like I was like, this is it. Like like we already understand why a 4 was not made. And I can now see it with this. Maybe in the hands of another writer that understands these characters, I will say, sure, maybe, right? Yeah. But I don't think they could save this unless they remake it again. Because honestly, Chris Tucker is annoying as hell in this movie. Like the movie starts off with him in the middle of a street singing on a traffic cop. And I was like, this is horrible. Like who thought of this, right? And you're absolutely right. Like, why are you going to start off a great buddy cop movie, right? Like, this is top 3 buddy cop for anyone that are into the buddy cop series, right? Like with the like we always talk about that, right? This is top 3 with the Lethal Weapon, right? But why would you start off a movie, the third movie, where their relationship already should have blossomed? You're going to start off with them hating each other, like you said. Like, it made no sense. He's like, I don't want to talk to you. Hangs up the phone on him. And it's like, that threw me off, which I was like, okay, whatever. But then it was like, it didn't do anything for me with the characters. It was the same jokes every time with Chris Tucker. Nothing changed with this character. He was the same annoying character. Like, nothing happened with him. He became a traffic cop. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, did someone watch Lethal Weapon and went, oh, okay, well, they did this in part 3. Let's throw this in Rush Hour. And I just felt like nothing new in this movie that I could have said these characters, I would have gave it okay. Like, you know what? I'm going to give this point because these characters evolution, like their characters changed. They didn't. They did not. Absolutely, they did not.
I will say one thing, though, and I agree with you. Except for Jackie Chan. He seems to get the better, because of and we're going to get to it in a minute, but because of his storyline, he gets at least, Chris Tucker, you're right, he got nothing. He got nothing. There's nothing added to him. He's just worse.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the thing I agree with you with. Like, I enjoy the series. That's something that of course, everyone's gonna be, oh yeah, but you like the other. Doesn't matter about that. If it's a good series, I will sit down and enjoy it. But this one for me is like 1, 2, 3, done. Like, it doesn't make sense. So with that said, I gave it a 2.5, and it was mostly because of Jackie Chan, because Chris Tucker for me was not even irrelevant in this movie at all. Like, it was just like, if you enjoy his comedy of yelling all over the place and acting stupid, that's for you. But for me as a character, it just did not work for me. It was just like they made him, like you said, they made him worse and Jackie Chan 10 times better, like, which made no sense. Yeah. It's supposed to be both elevated, but I mean, it is what it is.
I agree. He had one good joke though. Chris Tucker there's one line that makes me laugh. I don't know why. Maybe it's the delivery. It's the camera combined with the delivery and the reaction. And it's when he goes in Max von Sydow's face and he's like, you're going to jail. And you know what happens to old people in jail? You're going to work in the library and your best friend's going to be a mouse. That part makes me laugh every time because Max von Sydow's then like, what? Like but I don't know. There's something odd about the line that was it. Other than that, I didn't really laugh at him in this movie. That line made me laugh. But and wouldn't you know it? It's the only line he doesn't scream. He just talks it softly. So
like to me, it's like, does he have to yell and everything? Like I didn't understand this. Look, I don't know, but I give it a 2.5.
It's fine.
Yeah, main villain.
Okay. Main villain. So this is the movie. I'm going to describe Rush Hour 3 as the movie of missed opportunities. That's what the movie is. Yeah. I don't think we're not in overall yet. I don't think it's an outright horrid film. I just think they dropped the ball. And you could, when you're watching the movie, you could like see them dropping the ball, like fumbling the ball constantly. And the villain is one of the biggest, fattest dropped balls that I've ever seen. Now, with that being said, it's not horrible. I will say the villain and villains here, I would honestly put them on par because, I didn't give the other villains very high scores anyway. So, I gave them both 3s. I'll give my score now. I gave this one a 3, but I'll tell you why it could have been a 5. This could have had the best villain in the whole series. There's 2 reasons. One, Max von Sydow is one of the greatest actors ever. And if he's going to be your main villain, you could have made him an amazing main villain because he's just that good. He's old, but he still is. He just looks bad all the time, and he plays a villain a lot of times. And he's kind of the main villain, but then he's not. Yeah, he's the main villain, I guess. But it's always an old guy in these Rush Hour movies. I don't understand. But then you get Jackie Chan's brother, well, the adopted brother. And this guy, it's played by, I forget his name, something Sonata, whatever. He played Scorpion in the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Yep.
This guy is one of the best like Asian actors. I think he's Chinese. He's like one of the best Chinese actors. I'm not even lying. I love him in everything. Sunshine. I liked him in Mortal Kombat. He was in Logan. He's in not Logan. Oh, the Wolverine. He's in a bunch of movies. He's awesome. And he's awesome in this, but they just don't use him. I don't understand how you introduce this character who's pretty badass and is like a literal equal to Jackie Chan, pretty much. And you don't use him. He's gone off the screen for 45 minutes. Like my problem with the Rush Hour movies is they're like the movies of henchmen. It's always a bunch of henchmen and the main villains don't do much. So I give it a 3 because I love both actors. At the end of the day, at least they like the brother had the fight in the Eiffel Tower with Jackie Chan. Like he went mano a mano with him. I combined them almost like the leads. They're pretty much both the villains. But either way, drop ball. It's a drop ball.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. His name is Hiroyuki Sanada. I hope I said that right.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, he's great. No, he's absolutely great. And you're right. Max von Sydow, he's awesome too as Renard. I think that I'm looking at here is Renard.
Yeah, that's his name.
They were great. I mean, he was great too, but and I hate movies like this that when you watch it, you already know who's the villain because of the actor.
First minute.
Yes, I was a son of a bitch. I was like, I already know who it is, and I never seen the movie. And I'm like, whoa, okay, it's Jackie Chan's brother. And my wife is watching it with me. And we're like, okay, cool. And we're watching it now. And no, it's this old dude. And she's like, how do you know? I was like, because he's always bad in every movie. I'm like, there's nothing we can do, man. But the thing is, and the problem where it falls with these villains in the Rush Hour movies are the fact that it's the same fucking formula. It is the same formula, right? Think about it.
Yeah.
June
old
Tao.
guy disguising as a good guy.
Then Ricky Tang. Then you got Ricky Tang. The same freaking storyline. I said, what the hell? In the third movie, you did not give me nothing new except Jackie Chan's brother. But I'm like, yo, that is like a recipe of the old one-on-one action movie, one-on-one like scenario. Like, let's just throw his brother. He's evil.
It's definitely a, what's the word for it? It's definitely a staple.
Cliche?
It's definitely a hallmark. But it could work if you have the right chemistry, and they seem like they did, but then he goes away for an hour.
You're absolutely right. And one thing I will say, though, what this movie had that the other movies didn't, that each of the henchmen were very good. Dragon Lady was amazing. She was really good. The brother, Hiroshiko Sanada, dude, awesome. Yep. I was like, all right, he is amazing. Then you got, of course, the Renard. And they're like, wow. But as I can't use it as star power, but I'm going to give him 3.5 because I felt like all the villains in this movie molded together. I thought it was really good. Now, to me, I felt like part 2 had better villains. I thought they laid them out way better. Ricky Tang and the chick, they used those villains
Crouching
way
Tiger.
better. Yeah, I thought they used the storyline fit those villains better than the 3. If you're right, though. But all right, let's get into your favorite category, action scenes.
All right, now I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I've given the first 2 pretty much the same score, and this one, surprisingly, if you add up like as far as screen time, this one has more action than the other 2 movies. Like as far as like total action time, so I can't give it lower than the other ones, but I'm not going to give it higher because nothing in it is like amazing. It's solid. Jackie Chan's always solid. His stunt work is solid. I do really like that first chase scene where he's chasing his brother early in the movie. I love when he's coming down like the brother's coming down the building. It was sick. I love when he runs and slides under the thing. You could tell he really did it, and that crap probably hurt when he had to do that because that floor was hard. So I liked all that. I also liked the shootout in the hospital. I think that one's pretty fun and well done. It's one hallway. It's a small. I love a good small space. Like shootout. So the action was fine. It was pretty good. It was well shot. I give Brett Ratner 1 credit. He knows how to shoot Jackie Chan. I've always said this: wide shots, no quick edits. You get to see everything that's happening. I gave the other ones a 4. I'm sticking with a 4. I don't think the action is necessarily the problem in this movie. And again, this one has the most out of the whole 3 movies. So
yeah, look, I totally agree with you. I gave it a 4 as myself. I kind of enjoyed a lot the fight between Sanada versus Jackie Chan. They worked so well. You could tell they both they trained for this stuff. So you could see it unfold on screen. Loved it. I thought I give a lot of credit to Chris Tucker because he did a lot of his scenes. You could tell he went hand to hand learning some Kung Fu because of Jackie Chan's character. Lee, I thought that was pretty cool. I said, you know what? That's cool. So I gave that some points. And then you're right. Throughout the movie, you got some cool scenes. You got some cool stuff, especially the assassination in the beginning of the movie. Felt very different than the other Rush Hours when it started, right? Because you're going, wow, okay. It started
a lot more serious.
Different. Yeah, and it felt very high budget. That's what we were talking about because there's 140 million. And you can feel that assassination scene felt like a high budget Die Hard movie. Like from the camera angles all wide when he's running and then he see his brother going down and then he runs and jumps out. Awesome. I gave it a 4. I don't think it was a 5. If they cut out a lot of the jokes and made, like you said, if you take a lot of the role, the story and flushed it out even more and sparkle a little more action scenes throughout, this would have been I would have given it a perfect. But right now, I think this is a great action.
And I like the chase scene in France with the van. And the motorcycles. I love the part where the guy jumps on the motorcycle, lands in the back of the van, and then flies out of the windshield. Like it's all in one shot. Like it's really cool. You're right. I would have gave it higher if they. So here's the thing. Unlike when we did Lethal Weapon, one thing Lethal Weapon did well was they separated, right? When they're talking, when there's dialogue, when there's story, it's funny. There's a lot of humor, Joe Pesci. But when the action is happening, it's serious, and it's like there's danger. And in this movie, there's more danger than the other ones, but there's not always danger because they're always goofing and like making jokes and laughing and stuff. So you're right. It does take some of the suspense out, but it was still well done. Right.
No. It's actually a lot well done. All right, let's get to storyline.
All right, this is my weakest point here. I don't like this story. First of all, I was confused most of the time, and I'll tell you why. Because they're talking about this Shang Shang, whatever this thing is called. I just watched it. I don't remember what it's called. This Shang Shang, whatever. It's like a list of triad people, right? The explanation that they give for why this girl, Genevieve, who is not an actress, by the way, she's a model, which is why she looks amazing. She's like a Victoria's Secret model or something. The explanation they give for why she has that thing on her head, I don't get it. Why her? How is she even involved in the triad? Where did she get picked? She said she's doing it for Kenji. That's Jackie Chan's brother. But how the heck does she even know him? He's Chinese. She lives in France. She's like a dancer or something. Why did she get picked? There's no explanation. It's totally confusing. Then they throw in like another kidnapping of Su Young. Then there's them two are fighting. There's a lot of subplots. I have no idea what he was trying to do. I have no idea. I know why the brother wanted the list because he was part of the triads and they were going to get their list and all that crap. What the heck did the old white guy want? I don't get it. I have no idea. Whatever. I don't want to know. I don't care. I gave it a 2. It's a little muddled. It's not that great. Thankfully the movie runs about the same time as the other one, like not very long, so at least it moves along pretty good. But this is the worst story, easily. It's not even close.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I was looking at the subplot on Internet Movie Database, and it said it was the knowledge of the triads and all this baloney shit.
That's what he wanted? That's not explained. I had no idea.
It's horrible, but you're absolutely right. Halfway through the movie, you really don't know what's going on. You understand that as Lee's brother, and then all of a sudden they're going for this map that's in her head or a list of names of people that are triads and all this crap tattooed on her head. Very stupid. I thought it was the storyline is very horrible. You're absolutely right. It's the worst out of all 3 other movies. I felt like this storyline they needed to go back to the board. And and the thing that gets me really mad about this is the fact that Brett Ratner, to me, that's not a sign of a good director, regardless if you have your name attached to a good franchise, because look at Richard Donner. He did 4 Lethal Weapon movies, and they all were the same movies, but elevated to each movie, right? Because we broke it down here on the podcast, and each of the movie, they got bigger and better. I mean, some of them, we had some nitpicks here and there, but the fact was that each character, whether it's Riggs or Murtaugh, they got progressively, they developed even to the older characters. This one, they didn't. They just continued the same stupid jokes that Jackie Chan, yes, he did get older, but it was just the same thing. Him saying jokes too. And I was just like, but this doesn't work for me. Brett Ratner, for me, fails as a director because if this is your moneymaker, you should know your characters in and out. And this is a horrible sign on a third movie because I would never greenlight this shit. If it came into, I would have threw it out and be like, we're going to work on something new. I gave it a 2. This movie's got awful. Let's just be honest with that. Let's get to overall.
Okay, so overall, again, I mentioned earlier, this is a movie of missed opportunities, and it's such a 50-50 movie, and those to me, 50-50 movies are worse than like all the way bad, because when a movie's all the way bad, sometimes I can have a good time. You know what I mean? I have the ability to watch a bad movie, and sometimes they're just bad and I don't like it, but sometimes at least there's some fun. This is like, for everything that I like, there's like 1 or 2 things I dislike about it. And that's worse. Like be good or be bad, but don't be right in the middle. This movie's right smack dab in the middle. Like I liked the George, the taxi driver. I liked his little story. I had a good time with that. I thought that was you had these 2 characters who are in every movie. To have him like kind of have a third guy who's just a driver or whatever, it could have worked. But even that, they drop it. Like they drop it right at the end, like right in the middle. And then all of a sudden he shows up at the end. Like he's, whatever. But I like his dialogue. I love when he's screaming in the car and he's like, let me kill somebody. Like he went from not wanting to have the American in his car to literally wanting to kill someone. That was funny to me. But then they drop it. For everything they do well, they get rid of it. Bring back Soo Young. Great. Soo Young. We can have her. She can fight now. That's awesome. Maybe she could be the third wheel. Nope. She's going to be off the screen forever, get kidnapped. Like, the brother. Let's introduce this cool brother. He got a cool white suit. Oh my gosh, he can fight with swords. Does nothing for half the movie. So it's just so middling. I don't find it, I can watch it. I can sit through it without like wanting to, turn it off. But it's just, I don't know. I put it right in the middle, 2.5, because it's a middle movie to me. It's right smack dab. 2.5 is the middle of 5. So that's what I gave it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's very hard when you have a successful franchise on a third movie, right? Like when you watch there's not many good third movies to name.
It's hard to do. Yeah,
it's
you're right.
very hard to do. And this tells you why. Because they changed writers, the creators change. So, and this is a perfect like example of a franchise that just drops the ball in every way, whether it's the characters, development, whether the storyline is shit. There's nothing you can do. And honestly, I was not entertained with this movie. There was times that I was like, really, this dude, like it made me hate Chris Tucker. Like I just hate him. Like I was just like, yo, this dude is annoying. Like I never seen someone such like annoying. And on screen, his character became annoying. I don't know why. To me, it just became annoying. Like I was like, man, you don't change, but it is what it is. I gave it a 2. I was not gonna go high. I was not gonna give it a 3 for good. I just had to give it the bad score because honestly, this is not entertaining, and I know I'm not gonna ever watch this. And I've seen them all on DVD to make it worse.
Well,
I've seen them all on DVD. Yeah. Well, for this one, yeah. But you know what? I cannot see where 140 million went unless it was into the actors because
the opening scene.
Oh, the car chase scene.
Yeah, car chase. Yeah, that was pretty good. And they shot in France. That is expensive. They shot in France, and you know how you could definitely tell they shot in France. Roman Polanski is in this movie, and he's not allowed in America. So it was definitely shot overseas. When you shoot on location, you got to pay extra. So I'm guessing a lot of that. Plus, Jackie Chan was a bigger star by this point. Salaries. I could see it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not you can't see it on screen, but you could actually start thinking about stuff. You're like, oh, I could see why they spent that much money.
Yeah, but other than that, I hope it didn't go to writers because they were horrible. All right, Nate, you know what to do.
All right, so my total score is a 14.5 out of a 25. 14.5. Look, I don't hate this film, and I really like the franchise as a whole, but mostly 1 and 2. Like 3, I could watch it. I'm not mad that I have it or anything. If you have a friend who's never seen any of them and you like want to watch all 3, I could sit through it, but it's not the best. So 14.5.
I'm going to give this a straight 14. I don't like it, but because of the score, the way it came out, it was just a 14. I was a half a point down from Nate. Yeah. So yeah, there you have it, guys. Look, this is our Rush Hour 3 review.
So coming up, you know what we got? We're starting a brand new month. We started Mel Gibson month. So we got I don't know, my voice got deeper there.
I know.
You know, he got it. Mel got a kind of a deep voice. So we're starting Mel Gibson month. Our next episode will be Tequila Sunrise, a first-time watch for the both of us, I believe. Mm-hmm. Most of these movies are first-time watches for you. The only one you've seen for Mel Gibson month is Braveheart. Yeah, the rest are all first-time watches for Alex. They're all more-time watches for me. So I've seen all of them. This is like reverse Stallone. You've seen all the Stallone movies, and I hadn't seen none of them. I've seen all the Mel Gibson movies. You've only seen some of them. So we're going to be doing Tequila Sunrise. And also, you want to keep an eye out because we are going to have a bonus video, of course, where we're going to rank the Patreon picks. So last month was Patreon pick month plus because it was 5. We will be ranking those 5 movies. So hopefully they don't get mad at us for putting one of their movies in 5th and one of them in 4th. But we're going to be doing that. So keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, plus we're doing the Rush Hour rankings also. So
next week, and then next week, I'll tell you next episode what we're gonna have next week. You guys are gonna die. It's so much stuff.
There you have it, guys. If you guys want to follow us on our social media accounts, please follow Nate over on Instagram at NateFlix Reviews. Check out the podcast with him and his friends called NateFlix Movie Reviews. Anything Action Movie Guys Podcast, please follow us on Instagram at Action Movie Guys Podcast. On YouTube, please follow us on Levels of Geeks. That's our YouTube channel for now on. That's our original hub for anything Action Movie Guys podcast. And of course, guys, if you guys want to take us on the go with you, please search for Action Movie Guys on any podcast platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, anywhere you guys listen to your podcasts on. Till then, I'm your host, Alex Figueroa, and that is
Nate from NateFlix Reviews.
Be awesome to each other and geek out.